Hello everybody, it's Lori Jill here. I'm going to do my very first webinar today and show you how to make a logo brush. I've had several of the students asking me to do that. There are several ways to watermark your images for things like if you're putting them on the internet or your blog, Facebook, Meetup, wherever. I like to use a logo brush in Photoshop just simply because I like it to be branded. I like to be able to change the brush to match my image, place it where I want, scale it up and down, and haven't found a really nice automated way to do that any other way. So this is how I do it. Like I said, I hope this works for you and you have fun at least making a brush, because you can use this technique on all kinds of things and it's actually quite easy to do. So first thing I'm going to do is show you have to have a new document. You have to start with a new document. So it doesn't matter what you name the document, because we're actually just using it as a background to create the brush on. And so this I found is a very good size to work with. It's an 8 by 10 at a 250 pixels per inch. That's 8 by 10 inches, white background. And this will allow, when we have the document, this will allow your brush to be, oops, there's one that I had already been working on. So let me just, so it doesn't bother us all. This will allow your brush to be scalable up and down. If it's very high resolution, if you have a very big image, it won't get pixelated as you have to make the brush a little bit bigger. You'll find lots of different kinds of brushes on the internet, and that's one of the things that you want to look for, is whether it's a high resolution brush or not, because if it's not and you try to get it bigger to create something, you'll notice it being very pixelated. So we have our blank document. I'm going to just show you in the brush palette. Some of you know my logo brush already, and this is what it looks like. And it is a brush, so I can make it big, I can make it small. It's very scalable, as you can see. And I have just my logo, so I've created all kinds of things. These are the hearts that I use if I want to just place the heart somewhere. So I just wanted to show you. Let me just very quickly, let's just fill this back in so we can start over, and we'll make a new logo brush. Okay. First thing we want to do is the text tool. I think we can do it with anything. You can use anything to make this, but I'm going to start with the text tool. And when I do that, if I click there, you're going to notice it gives me a new layer, text layer, and I can kind of just select any. Let's just go through and pick something kind of fun. Okay, let's see what this one looks like. And first thing we have to do is make sure our text, so we can see it, is black instead. If you notice that happen to you, up here is where you change it. Okay, so maybe we should have a capital. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. So we're going to use this for the Lori Jill. Now I want to put photography under it, right? So I need another text layer, because I want it to be a different font and I want it to be a different size. So I'm going to click my background, and I'm going to click somewhere else in the image with my text tool. That will give me, as you can see over here in the layers palette, it gives me another layer, and this one I'm going to type photography on. Okay, but I don't want it the same font and I don't want it the same size. If I simply just take and hold down my mouse key and run over the word, I can select it. I can then click up here in the font box. When you do that, it turns blue, and I can easily scroll through all of I have tons of fonts, so picking them can be quite difficult if I don't do it this way. So I select up there, it turns blue, and I can use my arrow key to scroll up and down. But that doesn't even look like a word, does it? Until I find one. You know, that one might work. Okay, something plain. I didn't want it to be as curly as the other. And again, this is really just to show you the technique of making a brush, not to design it. Just, you know, you can play around and kind of come up with what you want to, but this, I just want to show you how to do it. If I hold down my control, or on Mac it's command, you'll see that these turns into little transforming boxes. Your text is vector, which means it's scalable. You can make it as big or small, squish it up, all kinds of things you want to do with it by simply holding down on these bounding boxes. I can move it, make it really a little bit smaller and longer, whatever I want to do here. And that might work. And if I click inside, it lets me edit the text. If I click outside the box, it lets me move my text, and I'm going to put it up here alongside there. So there it is. Yeah, not very pretty, but I can show you anyway how this works. So now this is just simply text on a document, and I need to turn it into a brush. If I hit my selection tool up here, the rectangular marquee selection tool, and I draw a little box around what I've just created, this is going to how I make this. Everything inside this box will become a brush. I hit the Edit menu, go to Define Brush Preset. It gives me this little box, and what it's doing is it wants me to name my brush, and it's going to put it in the brush palette that's open in Photoshop right now. If you don't know, you can open different brush sets, but whatever one's open, that's where it's going to put it at. So you want to remember that. So if you're in like starburst brushes or flower brushes or eyelash brushes, and you don't make sure you're in a brush set that you'll remember where your logo's at, then it, it may disappear. But right now, this, just so you know, I'm going to go ahead and name it Webinar Logo Brush. I could name it Ugly Webinar Logo Brush, but hit OK. Okay, it's now a brush. I'm going to prove that to you by just simply getting rid. First of all, we're going to get rid of the selection. All you got to do is click outside the selection. I'm going to get rid of the two text layers by just dragging them down there. Now I'm on my background layer. Now I want to see the brush. If I click on my brush over here on the tool palette, and I come up in here, at the very bottom of the brush palette will be the brush I just created. That's where it always gets placed, and you can see it's a brush. I can switch the color of the brush to any color I want it to be, so let me just flip that so it'll be black for now. Again, using the bracket key, I can make it bigger or smaller. I can make it small. I can also change the color by double clicking on there. Let's say I want it to be red. Red, small. My right bracket key, I can do red, big. So you get the idea there. So let me just show you one more thing about this before I end it. If I'm going to start back with a white screen, if I want one that's kind of see-through, sometimes I've been asked how to do that, you can simply just create a second layer of whatever you're working on, whatever picture, whatever you're putting your image on. Put your brush where you want it. On the second layer, see how I'm clicked on the second layer, so I'm pretending there's an image down here. Click my brush to place it there. I can then change my opacity of that brush down to, 30, 40%, whatever I want, and it then becomes kind of a gray see-through on the image. So that's how you do a see-through part. I hope that answers everybody's questions. I hope you enjoyed. That was a fairly easy lesson, and we'll see you next time.